How would you cope with being locked up in the top of an attic for 2 years? You can't make any sound louder than a whisper, and if you do, you and the rest of your accomplices will be taken away by a secret police. From there, you will be imprisoned and sent to a camp where death awaits you. This is what Anne Frank had to go through, and the only thing she could confide in was an autograph book that served as her diary. Anne Frank was born to Otto Frank and Edith Hollander on June 12, 1932, in a German city called Frankfurt. She had an older sister named Margot who was 6 years older than her. Her life was like any ordinary Dutch girl. She went to school, had a group of friends, she even had boys falling in love with her from time to time. On her 13th birthday, she received a diary from her father, which she wrote in daily about her life. But her ordinary routines all changed only a month after her birthday. On July 5, 1942, Margot was summoned by the Germans to report for deportation, which meant that she would be sent off to a concentration camp. The next morning, Anne and her family left to go into hiding. They hid in Amsterdam in a secret attic concealed by a bookshelf. This place was called the Secret Annex. Later, on July 13, 1942, the Franks were joined by a business associate of Mr. Frank named Herman Van Dam. Herman, also known as Mr. Van Dam, brought along his wife Augusta and his son Peter. Anne over time began to love Peter, and in the last year of their hiding, Anne and him began to spend every night upstairs together and confess about how they felt about being in hiding until Anne was ordered to go to bed. On November 16, 1942, Albert Dussel, a dentist and friend, joined the Franks and the Van Dams in the secret annex. He shared a room with Anne. Anne described him as a very nice man at first, but later saw him as a nuisance. From there, a typical day for Anne in the secret annex would start off with waking up at 6:45 to use the bathroom, next becoming silent at 8:30 because of the warehouse opening. Then there was breakfast at 9 in the Van Dam's room. After 12:30, there would be absolute silence, and they would eat lunch and listen to the British Broadcasting Channel. It was a radio that reported on what the war status was. After that, at 2, there was silence again because the warehouse downstairs reopened. From 2 to 5:30, time was spent resting or reading. Then at 5:30, dinner was prepared and served. To end the day, Anne got ready for bed at 8:30. They had gone through all the silence because there were people working downstairs in the warehouse, and if one of the workers heard, they were busted. This extremely boring and dangerous routine continued for 2 years until the inhabitants of the secret annex were captured. On August 1st, 1944, the last entry was made in the diary of Anne Frank. Her last sentence was, "I can't keep that up. If I'm watched to that extent, I start by getting snappy, then unhappy, and finally I twist my heart round again, so that the bad is on the outside and the good is on the inside, and keep on trying to find a way of becoming what I would like to be, and what I could be, if there wasn't any other people living in the world." Only 3 days after her last entry, the 8 Jews' hiding place was discovered by the secret German police, the Gestapo. They were arrested and held overnight at the headquarters. The next day, they were all sent to an overcrowded prison where they stayed for 2 nights. On August 7th, the secret annex residents were sent to Westerbork transit camp and assigned to the punishment barracks for hard labor because they were considered to be criminals since they were found in hiding. On September 3rd, the men were separated from the women. On October 28th, Anne and Margot were transported to a concentration camp. On January 6th, Anne's mother died of starvation at a camp. On January 27th, Anne's father's camp was liberated. In March, Anne's sister, Margot, died of typhus. Soon after her sister, Anne died of the same sickness, although she was never aware that she was sick. Otto Frank, Anne's father, was the only survivor of the Jews and was given Anne's diary by Miep, a woman who helped hide the 8 Jews, on October 24th, 1945. Miep had found the diary up in the secret annex among other scattered papers on the floor. Otto Frank later published the diary as a memorial to his family. After 31 million copies in 67 different languages, it is the most widely read book throughout the world, besides the Bible. After this, it is easy to say that Anne Frank's wish, "I want to go on living even after my death," has definitely come true.